Okay, welcome along to today's video. We're going to be looking today at how to pick the perfect kick drum every time. So I'm going to show you a couple of methods that I use that may speed up the process for you guys whenever you're trying to pick that perfect kick for your tracks. Today I'm going to use a track that I'm currently working on that isn't actually released yet but is pretty much finished. It's a track I'm working on with a fellow Irish producer, Joe Dex. Yeah, it's a little bit sort of a progressive track with sort of synthwave influences. So yeah, I think it should be perfect. Yeah, the kicks we're going to use in today's example are taken from our brand new kick pack. It's called the Ultimate Kick Collection, and it's available now on the Full Tilt Recordings website. The pack contains over 250 kicks that are all key labelled and are all designed mainly with sort of progressive and melodic techno in mind. So if you're a progressive or melodic techno producer, I'm sure you're going to find use for the kicks in this pack. So yeah, I'm going to show you now. We're going to delve right in and see a couple of different ways of listening to the track and getting that perfect kick to actually sit in your track. The way I've always used my kick drums in Cubase was using Groove Agent, but now with the new drum pad on Cubase 14, I have been using that a little bit more as well, which I find there's some good features on it. So yeah, they work slightly different to the Groove Agent. So yeah, I'm going to show you my techniques and see what you can take from it. So let's get a look at the Groove Agent first. So I'm just going to create a little Groove Agent. And here we have a Groove Agent. First things first, with kick drums, you need to know what key you're actually in for the song. So this song is actually an F. I click on the F folder and I can see a list of kicks that are on the F folder. Now, the old way, I suppose some people might have done it, is actually sort of, preview your kicks like that, going down through a folder. And to me, it doesn't, it's grand for listening to the kicks, but yeah, it doesn't give you a sense of context for the actual kicks. So you're kind of being a bit blindfolded by just listening to it that way. So what we can actually do, so I'd highly recommend getting your folders organized with your favorite kicks, or like we have in our pack here, is actually labeling all your favorite kicks and putting them into whatever key that they're actually in. This really does speed up the process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all the kicks here, and what we can do is actually just drag them over onto a pad here. Now, if I drag them here, it's actually going to layer it actually onto the pad. But if we click here, you can see the way all the pads are highlighted. I can drop them down there, so all those kicks are now layered automatically on all the pads for me. So what we can do now, so that's our kick drums all layered up. Get in our kicks, quarters. And obviously in the sample packs, we know that the first kick starts on C1. On our sampler. So now basically we can actually play the track. So what I'm going to do here is actually just flick through the kicks. And let's just see how these kicks are sitting in the mix. Here we go. So the beauty about this process now, once I select each kick, we can flick through each one. Okay, so let's see how they're sitting. Nice click. I think that one's sitting very well there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep that one there, and I'm going to actually duplicate that for now. There we go. Yeah, we'll just go through all the pads here and see. Okay, next kick. Decent. Nice also. Right, I like actually those two as well. So I'm just going to mute that. And copy that as well. Keep that one down there. So this is just a way of me shortlisting it, basically, okay? does sit well on it as well. Too clicky. That locks into quite well as well. Well, I'll just mute that one. There we go. Doesn't really suit it. That suits it as well. Right, so the beauty of that, so now I've picked, say, five kicks here that I feel that are sounding really good with the actual track. Let's have another little look now, and what we'll do is it's just a sort of process of narrowing these down. I'll just close that down now, and let's have a little listen to the track. I'll let the track play on a little bit more this time. I'm just going to try and balance it a little bit better too. Pretty good. I'm going to unmute one and knock on another. You think that's actually better than that A, so by process of elimination, I'm going to knock that one off. Okay, so the same again, unmute one, play another. So I'm trying to do this in the vibe of the track. So again, it's kind of down to taste. That one there I played, no, it's quite poppy and clicky and cuts through really well. This one has a little bit more character with like a little bit of a hat on top. And that one's quite solid as well too. So yeah, it's... Yeah, in comparison to that one, I feel we could probably delete that. Right, so I feel this one and the one in the, what's that, a D sharp, and the one in the D sharp an octave above. Obviously, these aren't notes. When I'm talking about D sharp, it's just a trigger point. So what we can do now is actually move through the track and see how it sits in maybe a busier part of the song. So I'm going to move this across to here. Let's see now. Okay, switching it out. Yeah, so I think now, kind of listening to it, because it's quite busy in there, I do feel that the one that's in the F here, it's not poking out as much, whereas the top two seem to be poking out that little bit more. So let's bring it on to this section of the song. Here we go. Okay, so to me, this one now is beating this. I'm just going to delete this one now because I think, nah. And let's compare these two now in the busy part. Yeah, so for me, just by process of elimination in this particular mix, this top kick now, I feel cuts through really well in that busy part also. If we want to double check, we can bring these back and double check in the sort of less busier parts. Perfect there. Yeah, sits perfect there as well. Yeah, you can hear when it's less busy. I nearly prefer that kick to this one. It's probably because this one has a wee little bit more character, I feel, than this one. But in saying that, you know, for the overall track, I would run with this one here in particular. Now, that's one way of doing it. You know, once I'm happy with that kick, you know, let's get a look at it here. Okay, so that's the actual kick there. Now, if I feel sometimes maybe a kick sample is a little bit too boomy, you know, you can actually, you know, pull back the release on this a little bit. I'll just solo it for you. So you can see that shortens the actual length and the boominess. If, you know, you're having a little bit of trouble mixing with the kick and the bass, and you need to tighten that up a little bit. So that's really easy to do on the Groove Agent. Most samplers that you're using are going to have that function anyway. If whatever you use doesn't have that function, a transient designer of some description will do that as well for you. Now, another thing I'd just like to show you, if you feel that, you know, you really like that sort of kit with all your kicks in it, a good way of organising them is maybe just save that kit, and you can actually export the kit with a sample, save it as, you know, Tommy's favourite kicks in F in the right key, and then you can just load that straight back up again on your next project. So if you did that for all your different keys, you can load up a drum rack full of all your favourite kicks that are in the correct key, and off you go, and then you can preview them like that and see, you know, which one actually sits in your mix the best. So because you've seen the different sections of my song there, that basically that, you know, some kicks were sounding better in different sections, and what you're looking for is the one that sort of sits well in all the different segments of your track. Cool. I'll just show you another new cool feature on Cubase. Okay, so that's me using the Groove Agent. I'll just park that for a second. What we now in Cubase have is called a drum track, right? So basically what I can do here is, oh, wrong one. I'm going to take this little kick here and just drop it on a pad here, okay? So look, it's a similar way of doing it, just slightly different. You know, we can actually copy all these kicks here. Actually, I'll show you this way first. So basically what we can do is, it's called like a hot swap. So if I actually just get a kick to trigger down here on C1, as I said earlier. Okay, so that corresponds to C1. What we can do, and I think this is quite clever here, because there was a way of doing that on the Groove Agent, but it wasn't very intuitive. So we can click this little button here, which sends us into hot swap. So if you actually go into your folders where they are and we play the track, so each time now I'm actually changing the kick. So yeah, I like that one there, and I think it was number 16 we liked on this one as well. So basically, you know, if we did the same thing again, you know, we could have their two kicks here, so you can still do the comparison, you know, that I showed you earlier. So there's kick 16. So, you know, we could do, just copy that up to, you know, this note here. And do exactly what I did earlier. And just sort of switch back and forth between the actual tracks, or between the kicks throughout the track, to see what segments it's actually poking out and sitting the way you want it to actually sit. Now, mixing your kicks, EQing your kicks and your kick and bass is something completely different to this. This process that I wanted to show you was a quick way of actually previewing your kicks, because you have to find as an efficient way as possible to hear your kicks within the track, and it is a must that you should have your kicks in key as well. So as I say, in their brand new pack, they're all key labeled, as you can see over here: A sharp, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, G sharp. So there's a load of kicks inside each one of those, all slightly different flavors, but I say it is a little bit more geared towards, if you like, sort of progressive, melodic, techno, synthwave kind of sounding kicks. Just those sort of pointy, pokey little kicks. So yeah, if you like it, they're available now on our website. And I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. And hopefully, might have shown you guys a few new ways of previewing your kicks and organising your kicks in your tracks. So yeah, thanks everybody for listening. See us all again soon.